Lots of blue skies. Some shadows will emerge a little bit later. Sounds are 4-6 against Iowa this year.
Nashville is a city known for its sounds, namely its musical sounds. But the sound of these sounds belongs to 2004 University of Iowa alum Jeff Hem.
Just learning the basics of journalism, whether TV or radio, was really where at Iowa I started to discover what that was all about. And then as I got later into school, I realized I wanted to go more into the play-by-play route.
Next one to Halton. Swung on, drilled in the air. Deep left field. Way back and gone. A titanic two-run homer for Sean Halton. And the Sounds have their first lead of the night.
Hem is in his second season as the voice of Nashville's AAA team. He is just one level below the major leagues. It's been a long trek to this point, one that really started as a Hawkeye.
What it was about for me was just getting a taste of it and learning, either covering a game or covering a story. Iowa played a big part, as I look back, in starting my career. I went to New Orleans, where the winter meetings were, and interviewed with a guy who actually now works for the Iowa Cubs, a former Hawkeye, and interviewed with him, and eventually was offered, it was basically an internship, offered the internship in Battle Creek, Michigan.
After Battle Creek, Hem landed a full-time gig as the voice of the Kane County Cougars.
Was there for 7 years, not for lack of trying to move on. Sometimes you have to just be in the right spot at the right time, and you have the right people like what you do. But I also didn't feel compelled to have to move on to go to some smaller town just to say that I'm at high A now.
3-2 on Dave Sapelt. Brad Nelson waiting on deck. And the payoff pitch. Fastball grounded fair inside of first and down the right field line. Watkins will score. Halton digs it out of the bullpen. Sapelt heading to third. The relay by Stacia will be held. It's an RBI triple for Dave Sapelt, and it's a one-run game.
Prior to 2012, Hem made the jump to AAA. He's traded in the charter bus rides to Beloit and Bowling Green for early morning commercial flights to Round Rock and Tacoma.
2 in the third, and they've all come from Logan Watkins and Dave Sapelt.
It's still about calling the game. You're still describing what you see and trying to paint a picture for the listener. But at AAA, there is something to be said for the experience level of the players. Many of them have been in the major leagues. So in my case, with my goal of trying to get to the major leagues someday, I think there's value in being around those older players.
Moscoso back to Seidel, and that one is low. He walked him. So Seidel does make it tough on his counterpart, and he coaxes a 2-out walk. And Moscoso picks up the rosin bag and slams it down on the back of the mound.
Iowa graduate Jeff Hem is the sound of baseball in Nashville. He's working his way toward the big leagues.
Biggest thing is you just have to have the right person like what you do at the right time. I still think it's almost harder in some ways to get there as an announcer than it is as a player, just based on the sheer math of how many jobs there are and how few become available. I mean, Vin Scully's been doing Dodger games for 6 decades. I just love the game, and I love the challenge of radio, trying to describe a play. Every game there's a play that's just a little bit different that maybe you haven't seen before, so it keeps you on your toes. And on radio, you've got to work hard to keep your audience. So I love the challenge of it. And at the end of the day, it's baseball, and you're paid to be there, and I don't know what I would do if I weren't doing it.
Here's a swing and a fly ball, shallow left center. Garner will come in. The breeze will take it to him. He makes the catch, and the inning is over. Iowa gets a run back. Dave Sapelt triples in Logan Watkins. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left, and after 3 in Des Moines, it's the Sounds 3 and Iowa 2.